So, hey guys, Chauzu here. So this is going to be my deep dive into V2 Queen, the new legend that is debuting alongside the Super Sugofest exclusive Sanji. Queen himself is not Super Sugofest exclusive. We don't know yet if he's an exclusive or Trash Map exclusive or a normal legend, but we should figure out by next news hour when the Sugofest will be officially announced. With that said, in this video we look again at what Queen does more in depth. We look at some good units used with him. We'll take a look at the video we got from the JP Twitter where they use Queen together with versus Kaido, and that's an amazing combination, like whoa. And we'll also talk a bit about the PvP aspect. Okay, let's jump into it. And yeah, Queen will be on part 1 and part 3. We don't know pools yet, but Queen got pretty lucky with both Super Tandem Nami and Yamato Ace. Two very good legends for sure. Let's take a look at Queen. We can start with classes Int, Driven, Cerebral. I talked about it earlier, but that there should be some Cerebral coming, and some of you guys rightly called out that it's probably Queen, and it ended up being correct. And Queen being Cerebral is probably one of the biggest aspects. We'll get back to that later. But yeah, Int Driven again. Basically, they are trying to make a full Int Driven batch for Kaido. Expect King in a week from now, also Int Driven. So it will be interesting to see what he does. But they really made the perfect partner for Kaido here. And together with the previously released V2 Yak, they're starting to form something very special here for the Beast Pirates, so to say. Queen has Super Tandem, special limit resistance and fear, so very rare potential abilities for sure. Might be some who can't max any of them potentially when they pull Queen. We can start with the support. Can we put on Yak, Kaido, King? Very strong support. When you use a special, remove 2 turns of death up. Very useful extra utility. I feel like it could have been a bit more though, like we have old rare recruit support, even free-to-play support that removes death up and damage threshold, and Queen special removes both of those, so I felt like it could have been both, but we take what we get. Let's start with the captain ability, which is actually really interesting. The normal stuff is pretty vanilla, not super exciting. The exciting aspect is of course the captain action. But the rest of the captain, -1 CD, Driven and Cerebral gets 1.65 times HP, 5 times attack, 5.75 times attack, then you have Recovery, Tandem or Wano slots, and then he makes Recovery and Tandem matching, and he has a captain action, and some of you might not know how captain action works. To make it simple for you who maybe are a bit new to the game, haven't used captain action units, like imagine a unit having a super type special or super class special, but that super type special can be reused. So after a while, after using the captain action, Queen will be able to use this again. So potentially you can use this vanish captain action an infinite number of times. Like we don't have long content anymore, but if you use Queen against like a Forest of Training, which I'll most definitely do, then you can reuse this over and over again to get very good benefits from it. And the cool thing with this captain action is that it's the same one that Soba Mask got, the Soba Mask legend, and it's a pretty big deal. Like it's a copy of exactly what Soba Mask got, but that captain action is still very good. The main reason this didn't see a lot of play at release was because Soba Mask as captain was extremely undertuned, like a 3.5 times captain, which was low for that time too, like 4.25 times attack with tandem orbs, but unlike as a sailor, Soba Mask as captain couldn't spam his special to get tandem orbs, so he was just very meh and fell out of fashion incredibly quickly. But now we have that very strong captain action on an actually strong legend. Like we're talking 5.75 times attack boost potentially. So yeah, that's definitely nothing to scoff at, so to say. But basically what he does, like the easiest way to explain it is to say that imagine you use Legend Toki on 2 units on both captains. That's basically what Queen will get defensively. Like you won't get any despair and stuff like that. You can get stuff that affects the whole crew, like attack down and stuff like that. But not only that, Queen will also ignore defensive effects. So basically, imagine using Toki on like V2 Cat and Dog, for example. That's basically what Vanish does, even if it's just for the Queen using it. But if you use Double Queen, for example, that can be incredibly powerful. Like if you get despaired one stage, you just ignore the despair completely. And it's not just despair, of course, a wide variety of options. And on top of this, you also have that 500 times true damage. So as we'll see in the video later that Bandai uploaded, like this Vanish doesn't ignore death up, but that 500 times attack hit is so strong that it can't even ignore some death up hits without like removing it and without using any buffs at all, basically. So incredibly exciting to use Vanish again on an actual good legend. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we get a captain action now. I have a strong feeling now that the upcoming Soror legend will also have a captain action. I was skeptical at first, but since they revived it with Queen now, I see no reason why not. As for the special, because in the end, Queen will mainly be a sub. And before showing the special, I want to remind you of this incredibly good crewmate ability. Every time any other character uses a special, you get -2 CD, so that's just insanity to me. Like, you have the potential of using this special, like in normal content, maybe twice, depending on what units you use, how you build a team. Just very cool stuff that is potentially able to do. But yeah, Queen, it is 1 times damage dealt by this character in normal attacks at end of turn for 3 turns. So as I said before, basically bullet special. If Queen does 10 million damage in 1 hit, at the end of the turn he does 10 million damage again. Of course, doesn't ignore normal attacks only, but it does bypass resilience to kill. So that's the main usage nowadays for this kind of ability. You changes crew slots, including block, to tandem. Reduces death up and damage threshold by 6 turns. Boosts the type effects of normal attacks for Driven and Cerebral by 2.5 times for 1 turn. And this is something I overlooked at the initial release. Probably because we have these little parentheses all over the place for often trivial stuff, but this is not trivial. It says that this Call of Affinity boost cannot be removed by the enemy. It's so tailor-made for a versus Kaido team, and it gets better because if you already have Call of Affinity boost, attack boost, or boost, and use Queen special, you boost the damage dealt to increase damage taken enemies by 2.5 times for 1 turn. And you also do some extra Driven and Cerebral resistance reductions for 1 turn. And this is such an insane combo with versus Kaido. Like, it can't even begin to be understated. Like, we have the Call of Affinity, can't be removed. Kaido uses his special. He adds the big attack boost and or boost. You keep the Call of Affinity, use Queen again. And suddenly you can use Kaido's versus special that gives increased damage taken through full immunity. And on top of that, you do a conditional with Queen. And it's not any conditional, it's a 2.5 times increased damage taken conditional. And I want to note that increased damage taken is by far the best conditional, because not only do you get more damage by increased damage taken, like you don't get more damage from poison conditional or delay conditional, but increased damage taken does let you do more damage. And then on top of that, you get a delete conditional for doing more damage. So incredibly strong, and also more resistance reduction. And this obviously also stacks with a legend like V2 Yak that also decreases resistance. And if I had to guess, King next phase will probably also reduce resistance, because when you use Kaido special, resistance does not get removed. So you can stack it basically in infinity. So that's a very smart approach. And I'm pretty sure that King will also get something you can't remove. It will probably make sense that he can maybe focus a bit more on the chain aspect. Like Jack can do the chain boundary. Maybe King can do a chain boost that can't be removed. That would be very strong. And then maybe when using him again, you get another good chain buff like chain multiplier boost or something like that. Maybe make a King version of the anniversary sword. Anyway, back to focusing on Queen. Very strong special just in general too, because like the extra effects is basically made to be used with versus Kaido, but he can make use of the normal stuff in general, like full board of or manip to block, good utility, very strong color affinity. Like there's a lot to like here. And with that, let's talk a bit about partners for using Queen. I prepared a list. And of course, versus Kaido first. And I can't really put together the crew here because I don't have Yak yet. And I probably won't get Queen either. We'll see if I pull on a part where Queen is available. Depends on the availability, like with Queen being limited or not. But let's take a look at the video that Bandai uploaded on JP. Yes, let's take a look. And yeah, the special is really cool. I don't really watch the anime nowadays, but they hyped up Sunny vs. Queen so much, so I took a look and it was pretty decent. I feel like people made a bit too big deal out of it, but it was very well animated at least. I give them that. And as you see now, they use Vanish with Queens. You use Wipe Down, you get Vanish. And this, in this case, lets Queen bypass defensive effects. As you see, the enemy had Death Up, so he barely did any damage. But then when he hit a perfect, he got that extra 5 times damage on top of tap timing bonuses and did a ton of damage. And yeah. In Japanese, Sunny says that he's blowing away the captain, but as you see, Queen isn't blown away because Captain Action Vanish resists basically everything just like Toki, so Queen stays up. Basically, if you do use Queen versus Kaido in real life, don't copy this. Like, this all 10 page 1 are not that good. They even use page 1 before Yak, which makes no sense since page 1 is a chain lock and Yak is the superior chain boundary. But as you see, Queen, we have color affinity, we keep it after using versus Kaido. We use Queen now, we get that increased damage taken. Conditional, we use Kaido's versus special and we apply the increased damage taken through full immunity. And then they use ulti again just to buff the attack and war boost, which is neat, I guess. And yes, Super Tandem, I actually forgot talking about the Super Tandem. 2.25 times attack boost. Tandem attack boost and removes damage threshold by 3 turns. And yeah, that's Queen's end of turn damage. Pretty sweet. And yeah, I think that's a pretty good example of how you're supposed to use Queen. But yeah, I guess we should talk about the Super Tandem. I knew I forgot something. It's not like the best Super Tandem, but it is one. You need 2 specific units, it's the Tobiropo or the Beast Pirate Commanders. And as said, you move damage threshold by 3 turns and 2.25 times tandem attack boost. So not the go-to option, but can be nice for some extra utility. And like there are more options, like you can also use Yak Super Tandem if he's on the same team. And we'll see what King gets. I guess King will be getting a Rush special, if I were to guess. But we'll know in a week. As for some other options, because I think we've said all we can about the versus Kaido compatibility, I split it up into Driven and Cerebral, since Queen can be used in both cases. As for Driven, I started with showcasing some other units who can do increased damage taken. That can maybe use the conditional with Queen. Kaido is the OG increased damage taken. And he's bound to get 6+ eventually, like maybe we want Kaido first, but who knows. So not the best, but maybe when he gets buff will be very interesting. Yamato is probably a bit more relevant in today's metagame, so to say. Can also do increased damage taken and can also give a chain boost, so definitely some potential here to be using them together on a team. Kid is a pretty funny one since Kid can handle like attack boost and ore boost and stuff. And by Kid spamming specials, it can also help Queen get Queen special back. And can probably do some funky teams, like a team with Kid and Queen can easily use a unit like Shirahoshi and Manchuri to keep yourself at high HP and such. So pretty interesting combo. I know Kid is old, but maybe you can get like 6+ like the Luffy from the same anniversary batch. I picked V2 Doffy 2, mainly because he's another attack and ore boosting unit, so you kind of handle all the buffs together, which is pretty decent. And finally, just a pretty good stuff unit in Ulti and Page 1, which might see a bit of a resurgence since all of a sudden we have a good option to stack buffs between Driven and Cerebral, which is a big deal because of course we have the best Super Boss Kizuna unit in the game right now, Robin. Like Queen being Cerebral and Driven can be a game changer since this lets you use Robin on Driven focus teams, which wasn't really possible before. There was no good Driven Cerebral captain. Now there is one. So we can use Robin, and you can stack that with something like Ulti and Page 1, who also goes through full immunity. So we'll be interested to see what stuff we can come up with Queen as captain. Because Queen is definitely not dead weight either, which is pretty dope. As for other Cerebral options, like Cat Dog, pretty nice. Like if you have Cat Dog as captains with Queen, like if you get the spear, for example, Cat Dog switch will remove that, and Queen can just ignore it with vanish, so you can make a team where you basically ignore the spear. And of course, Cat and Dog also has attack and ore boost that complements Queen. Another cool legend that is easy to overlook is the Anniversary Law, same batch as the Kid before. And he does do increased damage taken through full immunity. Also does an attack boost. So you're not far away from getting Queen's conditional boost. I think I'll definitely try and make a team with Law and Queen together. I think will be a very cool way to try Queen out. So that's definitely in the cards. I just need other people to pull Queen in case I don't do it. And finally, just some good units that give attack and ore boost to complement Queen. Like Viva Rebecca, always a good option for Cerebral teams. And of course we have Uta, which can support with buffs from multiple stages. So that's some pretty decent partners. I think Queen looks very fun in PvE. I will have fun using him. Won't be meta defining anything, and you should probably not pull for Queen, but will be a very nice pull once you get him eventually. Let's finish this video by talking a bit about PvP. Honestly, not a lot to say. Queen does not have GP stats, which indicates he won't be an anniversary legend, I'd say. But it will be confirmed tomorrow. So we'll have to talk about normal PvP only. The ability. In-type teammates HP up level 6, attack up level 6, Driven speed up level 5. And Bandai are really doing a lot of speed recently, which is not worthless, but they keep leaving out Death Up, which is the most important buff, so that's already a big minus in favor of Queen. As for this Rumble special, and targets enemies within large range for damage over time, 20 seconds. Speed down, attack down, level 6, 20 seconds. And if you have Kaido, King, or Yak on the team, targets 2 enemies with high CT for 100% chance of special bind. I'll say it right away, this is not a good special for offense, but the whole kit could maybe see some use on defense if you do like a bait team, which can have pretty good synergy. Like you can definitely build a team with Queen and maybe versus Kaido, and he can be very disruptive, making enemy weaker, slower, take residual damage. The special bind can be annoying. We've all seen on Queen how annoying he can be with the bind he does in PvP. So I definitely think that the niche for this Queen will be on the defense team. I see absolutely no reason to use him on offense. And unlike the other batches of Anno Legends, nothing special in terms of resistance. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.